What's up, Sean with Boomer Reactive, and I wanted to take a second to talk about lighting in an interview and lighting footage in general, because a lot of times I get asked to do projects and we've got only a few minutes or we're in a place where we can't bring in all of our lighting and stuff, and so they say, well, can you just bring a camera and a microphone? Will that be okay? And so, yes, we can, but it's going to look a certain way and you have some limitations. So I wanted to take a second and sort of walk through and build piece by piece how we light something and why we light something. And so we're going to cut in a second and go to the most simple of setups with just the camera with the microphone mounted on top of the camera and no lights, just the overhead fluorescent lights. And then we're going to build it piece by piece and add key lights and fill lights and hair lights and background lights until we've got a scene balanced that looks good, that looks thoughtful, and that looks kind of polished. So without further ado, let's break this all down and start from scratch. So step one up first is the most simple of setups. I've got the camera mounted static on a tripod. There's a microphone on top of the camera and I am talking standing in front of it. I'm underneath just a fluorescent office light. There's nothing special, there's nothing intentional. This is just me standing here, turning on a camera and pointing it at my face. This is setup number 2, and the only thing that has changed is I've taken the microphone from on top of the camera and I've put it on a boom just out of frame so that the microphone's really close to my mouth. So in theory, the mic is getting a much richer, deeper, happier sound, much more high quality, and that's the only difference. So it's an audio difference and not a visual difference, but we're going to keep this audio difference in place for the rest of these lighting iterations so that you can just enjoy better audio. But this is what it's like when it's right in front of you instead of on top of the camera. Now this is the setup. I've added one light, only one light off to my right, and this light has no diffusion or anything on it. It's just a big old LED panel pointing right at my face. I've adjusted the settings on the camera a little bit. I've turned the ISO down, so that way it's not as sensitive to light, so that it's adjusted properly, but everything else, the focal length, the aperture, it's all the same as the other shots. This one just has a big light over here. Next up, we've taken the light that's right over here, that's making the shadow on my face, and I've added a bit of diffusion paper onto the light, and it's only like 6 inches away from the light source, so it's pretty tight, but it makes the light just a little bit softer, and we're starting to make the whole shot just a little more polished. So I've turned off the overhead lights, but I still only have one light with the diffusion on it about 6 inches away from it, but we're turning off the lights so we can start to build the scene around ourselves a little bit and see how different it looks. So this is just here to show you what we need to start adding to round things out and make things pretty. Now I've added just a piece of foam core immediately to my right, and it's out of frame, so you can't see it, but it's just bouncing light onto my face. And you'll see if I turn this away, I lose all that light, and when I bring this back in, my face lights up a little bit. So not using a full light on the other side to fill, just using a little bit of reflection, and it already starts to show my face a little bit. So we keep building. I've now added just a small light pointing at this piece of foam core, so there's actually an active light bouncing off of this onto my face. So we've got 2 lights and a piece of foam core doing this. So before we get into hair lights and more diffusion, I'm going to take this time to actually light the background of the shot independently of how I'm lighting myself. So in this next setup, we've got the same lights on me as we did before, only now we've added just a little bit of light to the background to sort of smooth that out, make that a little bit more gentle of a contrast between myself and the background, so it doesn't look like I'm in some poorly lit room, dark and alone. So now we've added a huge diffuser just to my left for the main light, which softens all of the light and all the shadows across my face that come from it. And just to show you how soft and beautiful it is compared to before, when I turn off this side light, you see how dark it gets, but it still rolls down off my face a little bit due to magic and physics somehow. But then when I fade in this light, I can really have a nice soft light on my face. There's no shadow cast from my hat from above or anything like that from the other fluorescent lighting. So this is a really, really good spot that we've gotten to here. And now we're gonna add just one more light to sort of round out the whole thing. We're gonna add a hair light over my shoulders to separate me even a little bit more from the background. So this is the final setup with a key light that's diffused properly and set off lighting one side of my face, and then I've got a fill light coming in on the other side. I've got a hair light over my shoulders, which just sort of highlights some of the light rounding my shoulders, and if I bend down, it actually outlines my hat a little bit, and that serves to separate me from the background a little bit, and the background is all lit up and beautiful. So this is what it looks like compared to camera on a tripod with a microphone under fluorescent lights that we started with. One final bonus setup option is to put the camera on a motorized slider so that the whole time you're talking it's moving in a parallax motion with the background, and it just makes your footage that much more exciting. That's it. I'm Sean with Boom Reactive. Take a minute to light your footage properly.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
All right. Right here, okay?
Yep.
All right. There you go. All right, your name?
Sean.
All right, thank you. Have a
Thanks,
good
have a
one.
good one.